Well, hello everyone. My name is Yashasvi Avasthi, and in this video, we are going to talk about machine lease and reclamation in vRealize automation. So let's get started. Following the scope of context, we'll be learning about what machine lease and reclamation is. We'll be learning about how to make reclamation or the different reclamation stages, and we'll be seeing practical implementation of the same. Context, machine lease and reclamation. Collectively, we can say it provides a mechanism for controlling resource use and controlling cost in a virtual environment. Machine lease provides access to a machine for a limited period of time, whereas reclamation allows us to identify resources and reclaim the same from their owners. Let's discuss this one by one in detail and see how it needs to be done. The first is machine lease. As already told, machine lease provides access to the machine for a limited period of time. We can provide or define leases in blueprint itself for the machines which need to be provisioned through it. If a blueprint does not specify a lease period, then the machines are provisioned from that blueprint with no expiration date. And if a blueprint specifies a single value of lease duration, machines are provisioned from that blueprint with an expiration date based on the blueprint lease duration. We can also provide an ease of selecting our lease period by drop-down menu when requesting a blueprint. The expiration date is calculated from the time of request and not from when the machine is provisioned. Now, when the machine lease expires, the machine is powered off and enters into the archival period. When the archival period ends, the machine gets destroyed. One can reactivate the archive machine by setting the expiration date to the date in future to extend its lease and powering it back on. We can also send notification emails to owners and business group managers about lease to be expired or it has been expired. So let us look upon how machine lease works on vRealize. Okay, so on the vRealize portal, let's go to Design tab. On the Design tab, let's select the blueprints. Let's go to one of the blueprints to get to know about machine lease. Let's select the center-wise blueprint. Go to the edit option. Here we can see the option lease in days. So this is where we define machine lease days in our blueprint itself. We can give the minimum as well as the maximum days which a user can select during its requesting from the catalog portal and can apply the lease over the deployment. Now, if the blueprint does not specify a lease period, the machine is provisioned with no expiration date. But if any single value is even assigned to the machine, it will, after the lease time, it will go to the archival days. Now, archival period is that period in which machine is expired, that the machine is powered off, but is not destroyed from the environment. What we can do is, if we want the machine, we can reconfigure the machine, or we can assign a new lease to the machine and then we can power it on. So let's go to that option as well. In the iron tabs, you have all the deployments. Let's select their deployment. We can see it like it's been expired. Let's change its lease. Okay, so let's submit it. So like this, we can change the lease of the machine as well. This will help us in reactivating an archive machine by setting the expiration date to the date in the future by extending its lease and powering it back on. You can see the request tab, whether that request has been successful or not. So it's in progress, and by this is how the machine lease works in vRealize automation, and we can change as well as provide leases in the blueprint itself or if the machine has been expired, we can change the lease and make it into work again. Okay, so our lease has been completed, and we can see in the items tab, let's go to the items tab. Here we can see that our machine state has been off, but the lease has been extended, so it will expire on the future day. Let's power it on. Let's submit a request, and yeah, request has been submitted. So this is how the machine lease works in vRealize automation. So the next comes is deployment reclamation. In VRA, we need to know what to do when we need to identify and reclaim unused or underused resources and put in an automated solution to manage these. This is where reclamation comes into action. Reclamation is designed to improve efficiency and use, helping cost saving and minimizing resource wastage in the environment. One can use the basic metrics provided by vRealize automation to sort and filter metrics information for all of your machines, or you can configure vRealize Operation Manager endpoint to provide metrics and health badges for your vSphere virtual machine. To know more how to configure a vRealize Operations Manager endpoint to provide metrics from VRA, stay tuned to Try as Autonomics Man. So in a nutshell, reclamation and machine leases go hand in hand, but not always. Okay, so here we got the concept of what reclamation really means, but how it works. So here is the reclamation stages. Following are the stages that take place during a reclamation performed. The first one is identify, which means through endpoint discovery and data collection, VRA creates a list of machines and their characteristics. Using filtering capabilities, administrator can identify machines for reclamation, which could be machine which have been powered off, machine having average low usage, and machines where the users have left or has been disabled inactively. Second is verify. After machines are identified, they are validated before being reclaimed. VRA uses workflows to assist customers with a process along with approval processes. The third one is reclaim. Once the machine is identified for reclamation, VRA goes through the process of reclaiming. Some machines may need to be archived before being removed completely. And the last among them is improve. That is, reclamation is designed to improve efficiency and use. The reporting and cost saving are used to manage machines in order to track and monitor environment. So we discussed what reclamation is and how it works, but how to make it happen. So here we will perform the reclamation steps. The first thing to keep in mind that one should be having the role of tenant administrator to perform reclamation tasks. Now coming over to VRA portal. Okay, so let's go to the administration under reclamation. First we see the deployments that we have. Now select the machine which you want to use. Click on reclaim. Then it's asking for the new lease days, wait before forcing lease days, and the reason for request. Now the new lease length is the amount of lease time that is assigned to the machine, where if the user doesn't respond to the lease request, the machine will be power off and destroyed if no archival period was set in the blueprint. The wait before forcing lease days, it is the time within which the owner of the machine must respond to prevent the new lease from being applied to the machine. And then is the reason for request. For what reason are you requesting the reclaim deployment request? Now let's suppose, for example, we give the new lease length as 7 days and wait before forcing lease is 3 days. Now what will happen is, before applying the new lease length to the deployment, the VRA will wait for 3 days for the owner to respond over the mail that will be sent for the reclamation request. Now, it might get approved or it might get declined. If the mail will get declined, which is received by the owner, then he has to give a valid reason to the administrator for not reclaiming the machine. And if it approves, then the machine will be applied with a new lease length, and then after 7 days it will went to archival period, and if no archival is set, then the machine will get destroyed. But if there is a case that the user doesn't respond, then after 3 days the new lease length will be applied over to the deployment, and depending on that the machine will get destroyed or will enter into archival period depending on what it was set over the blueprint during the deployment. So this is how the reclamation request takes place in VRA. So we have seen that how the reclamation is performed on VRA portal. To summarize all this, here is the complete process of reclamation, as you can see in the flow below. Select the candidate deployment and send a reclamation request to the owners of the machines. The machine owner has a fixed period of time to respond to the request. If machines in the deployment are still in use, the machine owner can stop the reclamation process and continue using the machine. If the machine is no longer needed, the owner can release the machine for reclamation, in which case the machine lease is ended. If the owner doesn't respond in a timely manner, a lease determined by the administrator is imposed. If the owner continues to take no action, the machine is powered off on a new expiration date and the machine is reclaimed and the resources are freed. So this is how the complete process can be summarized. So this was all about machine lease and reclamation. My name is Yashasvi Avasthi and I would like to say thank you.